Šibenik,
Mangualde,
i Sal,
Trebinje, Plasencia,
Saldus,
Alba Iulia,
Mantova,
Saint-Quentin.
You're listening to the URBACT Residence of the Future podcast. The network of 9 small cities united in a shared mission to stand against urban shrinkage.
Working together, we learn that shrinking cities are not just about numbers, they're about choices. Why people stay, why they leave, and what makes a place feel like home. We discovered that the reasons behind depopulation are complex, and that means the answers must be too.
Every week we take you across Europe to meet another city in the Residence of the Future network, exploring its challenges, the causes and impact of depopulation, and the bold ways communities are fighting back. Your guide on this journey is the project's lead expert, Tiago Ferreira. So, Tiago, where are we travelling today?
Hello and welcome to the Residence of the Future podcast. I'm Tiago Ferreira, lead expert of this Urbact project. In this series, we are visiting partner cities across Europe to hear how they are responding to urban shrinkage and how people are working together to shape new futures. Today, our journey takes us to Saint-Quentin in northern France. Known for its impressive Art Deco architecture and strong industrial heritage, Saint-Quentin is also a city full of energy, creativity and determination to find fresh paths for the future. I'm very pleased to be joined today by 2 voices from the city, Nicolas Gibbe from City Office and Barbara Domont representing the Urbact Local Group. Nicolas and Barbara, welcome, and it's a pleasure to have you both with us.
the same for us.
We're very happy to be here today.
Thank you so much. Well, my first question, Barbara and Nicolas, it's about your connection with Saint-Quentin. So can you share with our listeners what is your personal story? So did you born in Saint-Quentin, around, did you move? So what is your connection with the city?
Nicolas, do you want to start or shall I do?
Allez, let's take the lead.
Ladies first?
Ladies first.
Awesome. Well, myself, I have a very special connection with Saint-Quentin because I was born here. But I left when I went for studies abroad. I went to Lille and then I went to study in the US, worked there, went for 13 years in Chile. And then suddenly I said, I want to be closer to my roots. And then I came back to France. And guess where I've been coming back? To my hometown. And to me, it was just supposed to be a transition period for me. But at the end, I found a great city that changed so much when I was away. I was away maybe 20 years. And when I came back, I could feel this vibrant situation of the city. And I said, why should I go to any other places than my hometown? And I could see that the city has been creating new universities to have the students to stay in our city. They had a strategy in terms of economic development. And I saw also that we had a great cultural scenery too. So I said, I will stay here and hopefully I really want to be working for my city. So I applied for my city and they said, yes, Barbara, please come. You have all those great language skills and development skills. So we want to have you here. So I'm super proud to be representing my city now and to live here.
Okay, that's great. All right, so you lived abroad. You have an international experience. Do you think that while you were living out of your city and when you come, do you think that it was the city that changed, or do you think you changed and you see your city differently?
I think it's really the cities that has been changing. I think they have been making great efforts when I was abroad without me helping out to really have the attraction and the attractivity to have a nice to have a nice city, to have the people be happy in the city. I think the quality of life has been really increasing, and I can really see the change. You know, with talking to people, saying oh, what do you think? It's just my personal view of the city. As you say, maybe I was not aware of those things, and they said, no. Now there are so many things to keep entertain the people that It's really the cities that it's been changing and not myself.
Okay, so you are a success story because you are an example of a diaspora from the city that was attracted back to the hometown. Very good. So, Nicolas, your story is a little bit different, isn't it?
Absolutely. Unlike Barbara, I am not born in Saint-Quentin. I born in Strasbourg in the east of France. So I arrived in Saint-Quentin when I was 7 years old, and I stayed until I was 15 years old. So I do my whole scholarship in Saint-Quentin. And like a lot of people who lived in Saint-Quentin, I lived for secondary studies. And I travel a lot in France to major cities like Lille, like Paris. And I lived on the French Riviera for 15 years. So 8 years ago, I was thinking about a lot about my life, my quality of life. I've got 4 daughters. I was very far from my parents, from my whole family. My parents live in Saint-Quentin for 30 years. So at the moment, I have a complete change in my job, in my life. Because I was a former entrepreneur. I've got 2 shops, 2 optical shops. And I became a public agent and I moved to Saint-Quentin. And that was a completely different style of life about the French Riviera, overcrowded, stressful, very expensive. And I arrived in Saint-Quentin where everything is done for the quality of life. That's a perfect city to raise children.
We are the residents of the future, shaping tomorrow's cities today.
Well, it's very inspiring. Two success cases from the city last years. That's very, very good. So, Nicolas, maybe we can continue. And I would like to ask you, what is your favorite thing in the city of Saint-Quentin?
I can do everything by foot. That's very nice. I'm going to give you just
Walkable
one.
city.
I'm going to give you just one example of how I start my everyday work. I cross one of the biggest city park to bring my children at school. So I step out of my house. I cross that wonderful park. I drop my child at school. And then I cross another public park to arrive in the pedestrian part of the city to go to my job. So that's really, really nice. I walk in parks. So that's...
it's good for the physical and mental health.
Absolutely.
This
That's
period
a nice
in the morning.
break.
Yeah, very good. Barbara, my question to you is a little bit different. So try to remember the period where you were living in Saint-Quentin before your international experience. So in your youth, what was your favorite thing in this about Saint-Quentin in that period?
It's very funny because I don't really have a favorite. I was just like a very busy child at the time. So for me, it was just doing this and this and this, all those activities. And I don't feel I was really enjoying anything about the city. I guess it was just very convenient to have a bunch of activities at that time all together. But I cannot really remember like anything great about Saint-Quentin. It's very funny, huh? I'm sorry to say this.
But you remember there was many activities to...
But it was because it was like I had to go to the piano, I had to go to the dance, to the horse riding. So I was having like this very busy child agenda. But I was not able to connect really so much with the city because I think I was just like, it was not really entertaining for me, I would say. But now it's very different. I feel it like it's just, I'm much more calm into my city. It's very funny. Like it's a very
different
it's
experience.
Yeah.
Well, it's good you discover the city in a different way. Well, besides all of these good things that we are talking about Saint-Quentin and your success cases, the reality is that Saint-Quentin joined this Residence of the Future project because of the challenges related to the population declining in the last decades. So can you share a little bit with our listeners what is the reality? What are your main challenges related with urban shrinkage?
Do you want to speak about it, Nicolas?
Allez, my turn. The main thing that in the 70s we were an industrial city. We do a lot of fabrics. There was factory everywhere, and we were far more. We were 20,000 inhabitants more than today. The industry was everything in the city. But with the globalization, with the factory moving away, closing and else, the people see the city going a little bit down, losing some inhabitants, losing some jobs. So for me, that's the main problem of the city, because it gives a lot of image problem from the people who live in that period, who see that many industries, that many jobs, and see the city now. Now that changed a lot, but that's not the same city that it was 15 years ago, 50 years ago.
So, Barbara, do you see any other changes in the city reality in day by day related with this shrinkage that you face in last decades?
If I see, sorry,
can you visualize in the daily life of the city? It's something that you can visualize. People feel that.
I don't know if it's visual or if it's just like more like hearing, as Nicolas said, like having those people, the inhabitants of Saint-Quentin, that are speaking about, the past. And I feel like they're really stuck into the past. And I think like there are so many nice actions that we are doing that maybe they are not speaking of, and they're really stuck, like having all those industries or textile companies, especially because we were very well known for the textile companies that went away. And I think like I think we have a deficit of image, like I wish that all the inhabitants of Saint-Quentin would be like the best ambassadors of the city, because there is a lot to share about our city right now. Like we have a great storytelling to say about our city. There is like, like as you asked me before, like in your childhood, what was your best thing in town? I don't have much to say about this period of time, like 25 years ago. But now you can just plug me like to anything. I will tell you so many things that are going on. So I think like all these Saint-Quentin people should be doing this, because in fact there is a deficit of image for our city. While, for example, sometimes I speak to people coming from outside, for example, from Amiens, which is like a city like an hour away from us. That supposedly there's like great things there, and it was a bank account manager who said to me like, "Oh, well, no way! I prefer so much more to live in Saint-Quentin. It's amazing. In fact, in my bank agency in Amiens, I always tell them to come to Saint-Quentin because it's much nicer to live in Saint-Quentin." So people from outside of Saint-Quentin are the best ambassador of the city, and the people in Saint-Quentin, they have to brush up their story and to speak louder and be proud of our city. So I think it's like much more like this hearing scenario.
Yeah, sometimes we need to experiment other places to give the right value to our own.
So that's something very shocking. I think Barbara got the same feeling that we live, Barbara worldwide, me national-wide, but I was very shocked at how the people are talking about their city. When we were in another cities in France, the people were very chauvinist, very proud of their city, of their region, or everything. And when you arrive in Saint-Quentin, the people are saying that's a very bad city, there is nothing to do. And that's not the reality, because people, when they come from abroad, they find that super nice.
Yeah. So, well, maybe some communication will change, and I know that you are investing in communication. So let's talk a little bit about the work that you did during these 2 years within Residence of the Future. So what were the initiatives that you have been developing in Saint-Quentin in the ULG? So can you tell us a little bit about what was your main texting actions? What were the main the nicest stories from this experience?
We were talking about the city image and the fact that the former brownfield were like kind of scars on the city and in the people's mind, and keep it a very negative image of the city. So when we talk about with the ULG, one of the point was what are we going to do with our former wastelands and brownfields? There are a lot of old factories that are not in use in Saint-Quentin, and we don't need it for housing because we are losing some inhabitants, so we don't need some new houses. We have a lot of old factories that we change, in 5 years we rebuild or renew 30 old factory into something else, housing, activity, or else. What are we going to do with the other one? And like we already said, we are very, very linked to our quality of life with natures. Saint-Quentin is the only city in Europe, one of the only city in Europe to have a natural reserve in the town center.
You're listening to Residents of the Future podcast, where people come first and cities thrive together.
Do you know why quality of life is so important for cities that want to attract and retain population? Because at the end of the day, people don't only choose a job or a house. They choose a place where they feel safe, healthy, connected to the community, and able to join life with their friends. Quality of life is multidimensional. It is about the economy, health, environment, culture, mobility, but also about something more personal, the perception of happiness and belonging. As Jose Costero, expert that worked with Residents of the Future, reminded us in his masterclass, shrinking cities can turn this challenge into an opportunity. Instead of chasing unrealistic growth, they can focus on improving the everyday life of the people who are already there. And that is exactly what makes a city attractive. Not being seen as a place that is losing population, but as a place where it's genuinely good to live.
So that's something very important for people. And the ULG said, why we don't try to put some kind of forest or things like that. Not parks, but forest. Something for the biodiversity, something for having something more natural around the city. So we have tested 2 microforests, one with the university, one with the schools. And that worked very nicely. And I think we are going to plan to do a urban forest now. A microforest, we test the microforest, and now we're going to
scaling it.
Absolutely.
So do you consider that testing action success? What was the reaction of the people on being invited to participate in that testing action?
I think they're getting very excited. You know, to have more green into their city. It's like, to them, it's like in the ULG groups, they were just always like very active, very dynamic, giving their feedback, helping us to identify places where we could plant. And then to say like, oh, I want to have this microforest in my neighborhood too. So everyone trying to have like the first microforest.
And what's very nice that they participate to the microforest. When the city do a city park or something like that, they are not doing it. They are not building it. But with the microforest, they can plant the trees. They can do something. So that's very nice to involve the ULG and the citizen in the project.
Yeah, so I really like the concept, and it's something that is very replicable and scalable. So I think your experience could inspire others to replicate your testing actions. Very good.
And what's even more that we do cross ULG with the other URBACT meeting to plant that macroforest. So that was something special.
It was also a team building.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. Well, let's talk a little bit about your integrated action plan. So you are now concluding the IAP, so a plan for future actions. Some could be current actions as well. So in your IAP, what are the most exciting actions, projects, investments that you plan for the next future on Saint-Quentin?
There is 4 very, very game changer project in that EAP. I'm going to talk about 2 and let Barbara talk about the 2 other one. The main one, the most, the one that is going to be implement very soon, that's the Palais Art Deco. We got a huge building in the town center that is not in use for 50 years. That building is a part of the patrimony of the city, very close from the main square. That's something the people are not really aware of. And we are going to implement in that building a 4-star hotel, a rooftop restaurant, spa, and meeting rooms. That's not just about having a new 4-star hotel, but that's an equipment that's really missing in Saint-Quentin, because we cannot welcome very large groups of people seeking about very nice hotels. So that's really be a very, very nice project for the next, I think, 3 years.
I can't wait to have my martini on the top of the terrace.
Yes, because you're going to have a view on the whole city from the rooftop.
Yes,
is it allowed for a French person to say martini and not champagne?
Oh, okay, a glass of wine then. That's fine.
Okay.
And the second one is our harbour. We got an harbour in Saint-Quentin, but it looks more like a wasteland or a brownfield. I don't know. That's not really in use. There is a lot of old factory around, old factories or brownfield around that harbour, and we are going to renew it completely. So that's not the same. That's more long-term project, because I think that's going to be for the next 10 years. But that's going to change completely the shape of the city. We are going to do some house on that part, but not a lot. A lot of renaturation, and like there is an harbor, a lot of leisure things with a restaurant, with maybe boat rental,
new
things like
attraction area.
Yeah. Exactly, that's going to be super nice.
And near the water is also a nice feature for people.
Exactly. And
so what are the other 2, Barbara?
Yeah.
Yeah. In Saint-Quentin, we are trying to do our best to welcome newcomers, for sure. I think we did quite a good job, but I think we can always do better. And it was one of our testing action also, to create a platform, a more friendly platform, internet platform to gather the information about Saint-Quentin. And so it's something that we have been creating with the local group. But also, like, we want to take a step further by creating a social integration and local support hub for newcomers. And I think it's something that we have been also picking out or taking some ideas out from the other European networks. So it's really great to exchange best practices, for sure, at this level. So I think it's going to be a really cool place where it would be like a one-shop place for newcomers to be oriented and welcome. And also we have this very exciting place that we are building right now that is called Le Totem Robot Numérique, because we have our developing our strategy on the economic level in Saint-Quentin is called the Robot Numérique. So it's really to highlight and to develop the robotics and numeric industry here. It's our specialty here in Saint-Quentin. And as it's growing, we are going to have this dedicated place where we would have the startups companies working in this field with an incubator helping them with a place where they can develop a prototype or so, and to offer them a bunch of services to really help them out to develop their project. And also we will be surrounded by students, because I think it's really good to always link the students that are being trained with the companies, because we want them to then convert to employees into our companies here in Saint-Quentin and stay, of course, in our city and have their babies and go to the shops and everything.
So you, in your IP, you are looking for making the city more green, improve the leisure opportunities, the facilities, the city landscape, but also working on future job opportunities, qualified jobs that could retain and occupy the most talented people in the city with nice job opportunities and nice job challenges. That's very good and very, very transversal.
We are the residents of the future, shaping tomorrow's cities today.
So my last question to you would be about what was the most interesting learning from this journey. So in our listeners, we will have cities from all over the world. Much of them could be in this situation of losing population. So after doing your city diagnosis, testing some ideas and creating a plan for the future, more than 2 years of working with the local groups, what is the best insight that you can share with the listeners that could be potentially useful for other cities?
Do you want to go ahead?
Go ahead.
Well, I think what I've been really learning into this process was to really work with the people outside, and get their feedback on what we were working on. And to me, it was always really great to listen to them and to receive their enthusiasm about the city that I would have never guessed of, because I know I'm very enthusiastic about my city, because it's a little bit how I am. It's my nature. So I would never live in a city, in a place where I'm not happy. It's just no way. But to feel all these enthusiasms coming from the outside, from outsiders, and it was just amazing to me. It was, and I think it's really something that every project, every city should be capitalizing on.
Okay,
because it's really a true voice.
For me, the most important thing that's the diagnostic. That's when you live in a city, when you work for a city, you have had some thoughts about why we are losing some inhabitants. But as Barbara said, that was super interesting to talk with people, to know why they came in Saint-Quentin, why they live Saint-Quentin. And working on that, for me, that's the major point, to have a diagnostic which is not the standard one, but also made with the thoughts of the people. Because when you have to change the image of your city, that's more what they thought than the reality you have to fight against.
Yeah, that's a really nice lesson, to go to the field, listen to the people, listen to the success cases like your personal story, but also listen about the real challenges of real people with their connection with their city. So very good. I don't know if you want to give a final message to our listeners very shortly.
Just come in Saint-Quentin. Just for good or for a visit, we have these great plans for you. Just come.
Nothing to add. Barbara was perfect on that.
So that's very good. So thank you so much, Barbara and Nicolas, for sharing the Saint-Quentin story with us today. To our listeners, the experience of Saint-Quentin shows how a city with a proud history and strong identity can upgrade itself and open new doors for its community. We wish Saint-Quentin every success as it puts the integrated action plan into practice, and we look forward to seeing the positive results in the years to come. And to everyone listening, thank you for joining us on this journey through Europe's small cities. For more stories like this, follow Residents of the Future on Spotify, LinkedIn, and the Urbact website. Until the next time, let's keep believing that cities, whatever their size, can change their story for the better. Thank you.